Hello, everybody. How are you? I am Penda James, and I just want to thank you for watching. What you are watching is what I'm calling the Resilience Project. This is an opportunity for me to introduce my friends to my friends so that we can all do great work in the kingdom. My goal is to reach at least 100 declarations for leaders, and the way that I'm doing that is that I'm talking to people that I care about. Today, I am talking to Miss Janie Mason. Out here in these church streets, we call her Janie May, but and we bonded many years ago over hot chocolate and hot topics, a youth ministry event. And there was this wonderful hot chocolate that we just both loved, and we just kept going back to it. And since that time, Janie's been like a great sister friend to me. So I want to introduce her to you all. If you're not familiar with me, business wise, I help people get unstuck, execute their goals, and inscribe their legacy. Janie says that she does nothing, but that is not true at all. Not true at all. So I'm not gonna let her say that about herself. So she's a mom. She loves to shop. She loves the community. She loves God. She's just amazing. So I can't wait till we get into this conversation. Is there something that I didn't say about you, Janie, that you want people to know?
Not really. You didn't say that I'm excited I got a chance to wear lipstick today.
Yes.
And one of my many purchases, one of my many quarantine purchases, I get a chance to display all of that. But it's just indeed a pleasure that thought to include me into this project, and I really appreciate that. And we do go way back, and when I say way back, I'm talking AJ in the belly way back. Way back. You extended your family to my family, and we do appreciate it. Anytime I talk to my youngest son, which is Ricky, who your husband had a very he played a very substantial role in his life. And if I ask, Ricky, you remember so and so, so and so, and so and so, he'll say no, but he always remembers Reverend RJ.
I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. Ricky's my guy. He's my guy. And Linda is my girl. I called her Linda since I first met her. So anyway.
And she loves the James. Please know that.
Yes, as we digress. So your declaration, Janie, is fun. I've had some really, really serious declarations and people, sharing their heart, but what you are going to say, you're going to be sharing your heart. But I know that we also gonna have fun because you don't take yourself seriously at all. And so your declaration that we're going to be discussing is, I have my 2 cents and I'm a woman of purpose. So,
well, the woman of purpose started years ago when I changed it from my email address. My old email address was Lady Tia 827.
Okay.
And as I grew, I was like, that Lady Tia ain't gonna sit, when I have to do stuff that I really need to do. So that's when I changed it to a woman of purpose. And all that means is that number one, I am not rogue. As I was called once upon a time by someone that I valued, and it kind of hurt me, but I got past it because that's not who I am. And then also, the woman of purpose lets me get past people's improper assessment of me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try and keep in mind when I think of a woman of purpose.
Okay. So you often have a lot of opinions about things, but you keep your opinion to yourself. So I pulled that declaration because I know that that is the truth about you, that you have something to say, you keep your 2 cents. So can you just tell us what it means to have your 2 cents?
Well, here's the thing. Whenever you offer your 2 cents, you have to be mindful that your 2 cents is not only to listen, but to understand where the person's coming from. And I think that's where a lot of people fail in conversations. They listen to respond instead of listening to understand. And that's where the communication breaks down. So anytime we offer our 2 cents, we must listen from both sides, because there are going to be two different views, but we can't listen to it as, oh, well, that's not the way I'll handle it. You're not effectively listening if you're saying, oh, well, that's not the way I handle it. Well, yeah, that might not be the way you handle it, but that's the way someone else process it. I'll never remember, I saw a meme on Facebook where there was two guys. One was standing on the 6 side of the number, and one was standing on the 9 side of the number. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I have
They
seen
both saw the number, but where they were standing, it showed a different perception of that number. And that's a lot of people, they go through life saying, oh, well, that's the way I would have handled it. But you can't do that. You have to think about it and process it as, okay, I know I'm strong on this side. And if that person's weak on that side, I can't give them my strength. I can give them encouragement on how to be strong in it, but I can't give them the way I would handle it. And that's all. That's that 2 cents. You got to be careful, because people throw their 2 cents out. Number one is nobody really wants it because of the manner in which they portray it, and then the content in which they deliver it.
So how has being a woman of purpose and having your 2 cents been a thread throughout your life?
Throughout my life, it's made me know that whatever I do, whether at work, whether at play, whether with friendships and or relationships, I'm intentional. Okay. I do stuff with intention. And a lot of people, we lost that somewhere in our lives, where everything is just so humdrum, or so status quo, or just so, oh, well, this is what it is for right now. But we never look at how it would affect our long-term goals. No, everybody don't have to go into every situation as a long-term goal, but you can't negate the fact that, hey, it might potentially become a long-term goal. So we just have to remember, whenever we think about purpose, it's not about what I can do, it's also what I can be. And I think that's where a lot of people, they miss that part.
Do you, Janie, feel like right now in this season in your life that you are walking as a woman of purpose? Or do you feel like there's something more that you want to be doing that you haven't attained yet?
Oh, there's always more. No one should ever be complacent. Me and my supervisor, we talked about that today, because we're in the season of EPRs, the annual reviews. And some people were just satisfied with satisfactory. And they don't want to go to commendable. They don't want to go to extraordinary. They're just comfortable in satisfactory. And in life, you can't have that goal, whether you're getting ready to work for the rest of your life or retire the day before, in the next couple of days. You have to always strive and reach for the better. This pandemic has shown me so much things that I don't like about me, things that I don't like about other people, and what I saw in them pre-pandemic, but now they've shown me the other side post-pandemic. And I have been hard on myself about that. But then once again, I had to go back and say, well, Janie, you're processing it the way you would handle it, and you can't do that. They're acting in the way they've always been acting. You just was hoping that it was something else. And that's what we do. We hope for something else when all the signs in front of us say, no, this is what it is. So we just have to be mindful of that in our purpose and how we function day to day.
That's good, Janie. It's funny because you do minimize yourself all the time, but I know that people listen to you. You have like such power in your experience and the things that you share. Even when you just open up your Ipsy bag and put on your lipstick or show, this is my new mascara. People want to hear you talk about that. And then you show your
Everybody don't now. Everybody don't, but I get it.
you have your like beautiful paparazzi wall where you bought all your jewelry. And I'm like, man, I need to organize my jewelry like that. So I do want to encourage you to share your 2 cents and bring it to the table. Like I had one conversation with my friend Miranda. She said sometimes when she comes to the table, she speaks for people who don't have a voice at the table.
Yeah. I think sometimes I say, and I type what people are thinking. Whenever I first got on Facebook, it was like I used to do 3 random thoughts a day because pastors always have their 3 talking points. And I would do my 3 random thoughts. And then somebody said, you say you put out there what everybody else is thinking. I'm like, well, why don't people say it? Because people, here's the thing. Okay. If I know that I'm off of my, if I know I went off of my my filter, Linda will be like, she'll text me, oh Janie. So that's when I know threw my filter out the window. So I have to be careful, in what I say and what I do. But sometimes I'm thinking what other people are thinking, but they won't say it. And I'll throw it out there as like, and there's so much more that I want to say, but I have to be careful because of my witness, and I don't want to throw anybody off.
I think about that too, because we are Christians, and especially being leaders and in certain positions, people look at us, and if we hurt their feelings unintentionally, or if we say something that causes them to make a decision where they get hurt or have these terrible consequences, then yes, it does become like a mark on our witness. So we do have to be careful. And at the same time, one of the things that I've learned is you always have to be led by the Holy Spirit. So
absolutely.
And sometimes if we get out there, we have the Lindas in our life that's like, pull it back.
Right.
Pull it back. So just learning when to balance, like what to share and when to give your 2 cents. Because you do say some things and I'm like, ooh, I would never say that.
See? It's the balance. It's the balance. But then, sometimes I type stuff and the Holy Spirit be like, if don't do it. You know what I mean? And I have to be obedient to the Holy Spirit because it can turn off to be something totally different. And then there's things that I want to say more, and the Holy Spirit say, that's enough. You know what I mean? So you have to have that balance, and people, we can't not operate in a double negative. We can not operate outside of that umbrella, because that's when it becomes offensive and different things like that. So we have to be very careful.
I saw this meme on Facebook, and it was talking about, you ever had a response and you type like 10 paragraphs and then you just erase it all and say, okay.
Yeah. All the time, if you hear get okay or the thumbs up, she done had a whole book and she just got rid of it.
So that's good stuff. What do you want people to know, Janie, about being a woman or a man of purpose and having their 2 cents?
You have to operate with a level of accountability, and people, they don't want to do that. You can't be a woman or man of purpose and not be accountable for what you do, what you say, how you interact, how you react. Because once again, it can mess up your witness. You have to make sure that you're properly assessing situations and properly assessing circumstances and different things like that in our life, which can build on making sure you are the woman or man of purpose that you are intended to be. And I think people, they lose that balance that, oh, I'm grown. Because I know I used to say it along, oh, I'm grown. Well, yeah, we are grown, but we must be mindful on how another person is going to be affected by that. And that's just what we have to do. And I think the whole accountability thing, I think we've lost that at some point in time in our lives, whether not only the accountability, but I always tell my my supervisor, I can't monitor somebody's moral compass, and I should not have to. And that's the whole thing. We have to be careful of our moral compass and how other people portray that? Are we supposed to be different for them? Not be you, but be mindful of, okay, I have to be accountable for whatever I say. If I cuss somebody out, I have to be accountable for that. You know what I mean? And people, they say whatever they want to say and they just move on as if it's nothing. And I think we have to be mindful that we can't always do that. How I said you can't always do that, but sometimes it's needed and necessary. So it
Yeah,
just is what it is.
that's really true. It's interesting because you made me think about, I'm reading a book called When Chicken Heads Come Home to Roost. And it's about feminist theory in hip hop culture, basically. But
Okay.
she told a story about how this bully kept on messing with her. She went inside, she was like, mama, she pushed me or whatever. And she said, I thought my mom was gonna go down there and hit her for me. And her mom was like, if you allow her to hit you one more time and you don't do nothing about it, I'm gonna come outside and I'm gonna beat you, And so it just made me think, like, sometimes you have to let people know, like, I ain't no punk.
You have to, because then they'll take that people say they'll take that kindness for a weakness, and you have to be careful of that. And also we got to be careful that we don't handle situations and circumstances from a hurtful place, because that's a whole different can of worms. Whenever you're offering your 2 cents from a hurtful place or for a painful place, it's never going to come out good, ever. So we have to be mindful of that too.
We have to filter really what we feel through the lens of God first.
How about that? Yes. And sometimes we forget that. We forget that.
I see you sometimes when you bite your tongue, you really want to say something, and so I've learned that from you, because I've learned watching you to, you say some things and no matter how people respond to it, it's your truth and you stand on your truth, period.
And you have to, we can't waver, but we have to not waver with empathy and compassion. You know what I mean? And I'm getting better at that in my old age. I wasn't always that way. And I can't say I'm getting better. And Linda, she said one time, she said, Mom, because we were talking about everything that's going on with the election. I made a comment and she said, see, that's right there. You just took it too far. And I'm like, what? And she was like, that wasn't even necessary. I mean, I said what I said and I meant it, but in somebody else's eyes, I went too far. But I didn't back down from it because I still mean it. But we have to keep in mind that we have to come with compassion and empathy.
And that's the accountability too, because when you have people in your life who have different experiences and different mind frames and paradigms, they bring things back into perspective for you. So we need, Linda's in our life. Sometimes with AJ, she's 13, and she's experiencing a lot of things that I never experienced.
Oh gosh, yes.
And sometimes she'll be like, Mom, no, that's not why did you say that? And I'm like, just teach me then, because
right,
you know more than I know, So it's important for us to have relationships and connections with people who can teach us and help us stay on our path to purpose.
They strengthen us. And people think you always have to be a strong person or a strong person to strengthen somebody. No, you can strengthen somebody in your words. You can strengthen somebody with your presence. You can strengthen somebody in other ways other than just the physical part. You know what I mean? And people, they forget that.
Absolutely. Is there something that I didn't ask you that you want to say about purpose and having your 2 cents? Can you speak to a leader, somebody who just isn't really using their voice like they should, and just give them some encouragement?
I'll say this, and I really stand on this, and I mean this with every bit of me. Never go on someone else's perception of an individual. No matter what, as a leader, or as a person in position where they have to interact and be around other people, or well, you interact with other people for job, for events or whatever. Don't go on somebody else's explanation of another person. Get to know that person for yourself. And then once, if you get to know that person, you see the likeness, then you can be like, oh, okay, I understand what they mean. But don't go in based on their word, because that just might be how they react and respond to you based on what you've done to them. And if I haven't done anything to them, they have no reason to act that way towards me. I know it happens over and over and over and over again, and that must stop. Now is a time where all of that must stop. We have to see people for who they are, not for who somebody told us that they are. And that's just my only, that's this season, that is my only thing. Stop going by other people's 2 cents that doesn't align with what you see in that person. Now, if somebody comes to me and say, oh, Penda's this, that, and the other, I can say, no, 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 no. That's not the Penda I see. That's not the Penda that she is to me. Maybe you need to check yourself and see why you're presented with that Penda, because the Penda that you're telling me about, no, that's not her. Nope.
Thanks for being an advocate for me.
Oh, absolutely, 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 absolutely.
Thank you, Sister Janie. I appreciate you, and thank y'all for joining us for the Resilience Project. This has been a conversation that we have in real life. We talk about stuff like this all the time. So thank you for joining in with us. And if you want to learn more about the Resilience Project, follow the hashtag or follow me on YouTube. We appreciate you and we love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for having me.
You're welcome, Janie.
Love you.
Love you more.